everybody, KC0VI Tom here. It's kind of a cold, windy, drizzly Sunday morning, so we can't do anything outside, and I got a product I want to show you guys. We came across something similar to this many years ago. One night, TLJ and myself were snuggling up on the couch with a couple adult beverages, ready to watch Ham Nation on the old Twit network. That's how long ago we first saw one of these. Back then, it was late Bob Heil was the main host, along with Don, Gordo, George, Amanda, and Valerie. In that episode, Valerie was actually interviewing Tim Duffy, K3LR. Check my cheat sheet, make sure I get his call sign right. Tim has a very large contesting stations, plural stations, in this contesting shack. I can't remember how many different stations they have set up, and they were going through a number of stations, what each station is capable of doing, and it's very impressive. And behind Tim, the only thing that TLJ noticed was this large Geotron. If you don't know what a Geotron is, that is like a large screen TV, LCD or plasma, depending on what era it was made in, and it has a small computer gathering up information and displaying it on the screen. A lot of times they'll have a map of the world with the day side, the dark night side illuminated, so you can tell where the sunrise, sunset's at. Then it's pulling information from a DX cluster, all the contacts being logged. They'll plot those paths on the map, along with solar information, the solar winds, solar flux, that stuff. And a lot of times they'll have some other stuff like a POTA list, or POTAs weren't around that much, but the spot list, where you make a contact and you put it up on a spot board, and this thing would actually pull information from these spot boards so you could see who's making contacts with these other people, and so you could actually go after these people if you're doing a contest. And there's a lot of other information that can deal in there. And the first thing TLJ said, "Oh, we gotta get one of those." So I took my phone up, did a quick Google search, showed her how much they were, and in her typical fashion, "Oh my God!" Because they're quite spendy. They're still spendy if you want to go out and buy a true Geotron. And even when the interview was over and they went back to the host, and all the hosts were talking about the Geotron and the station, and I remember a lot of them were saying, "Well, we'd love to have a Geotron in our shack, but they're just too spendy, for a single person." But if you got a big club, you could do it. And over the years, this is a wise old man, definitely not me, is saying, over the years you'll see this happen on a product or a service that is really neat and really could be useful, but the price is so high, there's always somebody off the side saying, I could do that better and cheaper. And sure enough, that's what happened with these Geotrons. There's been a slug of smaller, quicker, better hardware coming down out through the streams. Your Raspberry Pi is a good example. There's a couple places that are making software to run on the Pi. Clear Sky Institute, I'll put the link down here in the description so you can go there. They sell, they don't sell it. They have one they call HamClock, and that's what we're going to talk about today. It's the Geotron, but it's for the poor man, people like me. If you're thinking about getting a HamClock or something similar to that, just go to their website. There's a whole bunch of good instructions. If you have a Raspberry Pi, right now they're in short supply, one that will meet the minimum requirements, and you can actually download everything and install it on the Pi and make it run. Or there are some real good instructions there also. You could actually download the PDF on how to put it on a Windows machine. And what I would do, I'd set up a dual monitor temporary on the machine and have the PDF on one screen, open up your command prompt on the other one, and just go down the instructions and copy paste, and you can actually, it loads down a version of Debian, I think it's called, a Unix window. Then it will load down HamClock, and you can actually run HamClock on your computer. What I was kind of looking for was something that was small, that I could take with me either here in the house, or if we go on field day or go somewhere from field operations, something like small I could take with. And came across Inovator Quadra, which this is also known as, they get the product right, thank God this is not commercial TV. This is known as the Pi Killer, because these things are quicker than a Pi, they're cheaper than a Pi, and they're available right now, unlike most of the Raspberry Pis. This is roughly 3 5/8 by 3 5/8 by 3/4. It's got a lot of neat little features in here. Let's take a little closer look at it. To Now I'll put the website where I got this from Inovato Quadra. It's a bundle. You could just buy just the Quadra by itself or order the bundle like I did. In the bundle you get a nice little keyboard and a mouse pad all in one, which is kind of handy. It's a little cheesy, but the number of times you're going to use it's not that great. And actually I might order one of these just for some other uses around here because it's nice and handy. You'll 3D printed stand, and then you get a little USB hub along with a little muffin fan. The unit by itself does get a little warm to the touch, but not too bad. On the front here it's blank. On the side we got air vents. In the back we have the 5-volt power supply. It does come with a USB style cable and a ball wart. And you got one USB port here, Ethernet. It will do Wi-Fi and HDMI out and AV out with the proper cable. Then on the side here, there's another USB port and an SD card. And like I said, this is a nice little unit. Let's go ahead and assemble it, and we'll fire it up. Okay, we got it plugged in. We got it assembled while it's booting up here. We got the fan in the right direction. As you can see, we're starting to boot up. We'll make sure we get the keyboard turned on in time so we get caught. It will go into the Inovato Quattro software, the Unix. There we go, loading that up. Then what we want to do is click. Once we get into the next screen, that's going to get us into the setup. If you don't, first time it will stop at setup. But I have it, since I've already set it up, it would actually just go right on through. Now the first thing you'll need to do, wires keep internet connected. Up in the top over here, put your call sign in. Then on the next line down, you can put in just your grid square. It'll calculate or look up the latitude, longitude. Or if you want to use the GPSD, you can click yes on that, or the IP geolocate, and it will populate the needed information. Go to page 2. On this one, you can select using a cluster, yes or no, or you WSJT-X. Watch, you have it set for watch. If you're going to use a cluster, you put in the port, the host, any type of login. I'm using Ham Radio Deluxe's DX cluster. There are some cluster commands. If you need to put those in, you can. Go to page 3. Here, if you want to use some type of rig controller from the unit, or rotate your rotor controller or FL rig. The time server, if you want to use a certain one, you can put that in. ADFI, you can actually select that, yes or no. Page 4, oops, click too many times, double click, my fault. Go to page 4. You can have the map center somewhere on the screen. I think what I'll do, I'm going to delete that, and we're going to put in 92 west, and we'll put my location more in the center of the map, left to right. And you can adjust the minimum brightness and the maximum brightness if you wanted to. Just some little cosmetic here. Your date, order, month, day, year. You can go through, change these. Weekly starts. What day of the week you want to start on. Your units of measure. Auto space weather, yes or no. Spot labels, your prefix. Scroll down. Bottom or up, which direction you want to go. Full screen, yes or no. And log on, demo mode, bearings, true north for your top of the screen. Spot pass, your bearings, all that stuff you can add on, modify. This thing is very easy to configure, and also you can customize it to your standards. Here's an example. All your paths of different frequencies, you have different colors. So just at a quick glance, what's between, what's the difference between 40 and 80 meter just by the colors. And 7, you can actually have this thing turn on and off at certain times during the week if you care to. So then it should rotate back around to the first screen. It'll continue that. We'll slide on down here, select done. Now I'll start booting up into the HamClock. If you go to Clear Skies, like I said, there's a lot of good instructions there on HamClock in a PDF form. You can download it, and you can actually go through and explain what each window is, all the different settings for each of these windows. And one thing I've learned is when you first boot it up, let it sit for a minute or so it starts gathering all the information. So when you start changing the fields, changing your windows, you can actually see it. While that is booting up, we'll go down to the left side where my call sign is. And again, this is extremely easy to customize, so you don't accidentally screw it up. They put a lock on there so you can actually lock it out. Up here put the cursor next to the call sign, you can actually change the background color. Get back to black where I wanted it. Or if you slide over to the left side of the call sign, you can actually change the actual color of the text itself. And the next line down tells how long it's been up, your IP number, your version number. When there's a new version, this version number will turn red. You just click on it, and it'll download the latest update and install it. Then you got UTC time, the date, month, year. DE is your location. Here in St. Ansgar, it's 9:36 on April 7th. There's our latitude, longitude, our grid square. This part here is a little confusing. This is sunrise and sunset, and it's going to say the set is going to be in 10 hours and 7 minutes. It rose 2 hours and 53 minutes ago. Then down here, the DE. The DE is where anywhere on the map you put the cursor and you click it. We'll go down here to Australia. Let's go up here in the Solomon Island chain, just for something different. And if we click there, now it's going to change this DE setting to that location. Is 7,599 miles. If you had a rotor, you want to turn the rotor 278 degrees. Then up here, it's going to give you the weather currently at that location. Sun, now the sun is going to rise at 6:35 and set at 18:31. Instead of stating how many hours to sunset or hours from sunrise ago. I think if they would have put this in the actual time, it might have been a little easier. It's not that confusing. This next little window here, if you go up here and click on it, it'll come down with all the different information it'll display. And if you have more than one, it will rotate through. Like right here, I got POTA, SOTA, and the vocab. So we'll just cancel out of that. And what's going to happen, the vocab will be there for about a minute, then it goes to the SOTA, then after a minute it goes to POTA. This one here, I have the DX cluster set up, so I can see what's going on. What bands are getting more active. You can see them down below, they're being plotted. Over here, the next window over is the different pictures of the sun with different filters, different types of cameras. So you can see the sunspots moving around. And this last screen here, it defaults when you first turn it on to be the beacon across the world. I switched it over to the solar weather because to me that makes more sense. I'll get more information out of that than the beacons. Then down below here, the main map. If we click on Terra, this shows you can have it, the map in countries, the different types of maps. You can have it looking at aurora, at the weather, your grid squares. You can, lines on there. You can have it set for none or the tropics, latitude, longitude, like I have. Projection, different types of how the map is orientated. Then you got RSS. Then you got nighttime in the cities. You can actually remove it so you don't see the cities at night, or it's just there's no night or day. You can also cancel on this. Satellites in the ISS, you can have that appear on the map, and it'll tell you how the bearings on when the satellite is coming in. We'll lock the screen because I'm notorious for sliding this across. Is where the satellite's going to be at, the direction you're going to point your antenna, and the way you go at satellite or the ISS. Again, this is really customizable. Now you see we're up on the SOTA, and it's going through the different SOTAs. You can make this the way you like it, or this would be something really handy for a club. This will work off wired or Wi-Fi, and you could have this set up so when at field day, you have this projected on the wall in the wherever you guys are set for field day, side of somebody's camper or a sheet. Or the other thing I thought was really interesting, we'll set this down and try not to bump the camera. iPad. I'll fire up my iPad. On the iPad, if we open up a web browser, and I'll put the link into the description down below, you can actually, if you're on the same network, and here in the house I have a small computer network wired with Wi-Fi access points, you can actually see wirelessly, it'll show up on a phone, on a tablet, another computer. So if you're at field day, and hopefully your club is using some type of network style logging software, so everybody's with a laptop or an iPad or some type of tablet, as they're making calls and logging in, all that logs will be put in one database, so it makes it easier for you to submit your report at the end of the field day event. Also, everybody can see where all the traffic is coming from or going to, what part of the world is active. As you can see right now, between the US and Europe is very active. From Europe to Asia is fairly, nobody's reporting anything. Doesn't mean it's not there, but it's, again, that time of night, morning, you know, traffic is going to vary across the world. And this is, I can unlock the screen. I can unlock the screen. Sometimes it doesn't want to play with me. But this is full interactive. There we go. A little time delay on that. To prove I can change the color behind the call sign. You know, we'll put that back. Well, works better if I have a camera view, eh? Or we could actually change, you know, the color of the text itself. We'll get back to white and we'll lock it up so I don't mess it up again. If you're thinking about getting one of these, I'd recommend that you download the instruction manual, the owner's manual for it, run through it so you have an idea. This is going to do what you want it to do and how to have it laid out. And I'll guarantee you the first couple hours you're going to have it. You're going to be around changing everything, coming up with what works best for you or for your club. If you're sitting on the fence, get one of these, download the manual, and then just so you have an idea what it can do for you. Again, the big question is cost. I'll put it in the web address where I purchased it from Inovato. It was $59 to get it to my door. I bought the whole kit. You can just buy the Quadra by itself, I believe, for $49 and some odd cents. Then there's some shipping on that. Or I bought this kit for $59 and I got dinged $10 for shipping. And I was a little upset about the shipping, but I placed the order on Friday morning before I went to work, and Monday afternoon it showed up in my P.O. box. I was surprised how fast it came in, especially over the weekend. And especially, the guy running the website said he was going to be away that weekend on a family event, so no orders would be shipped out till Monday. So it's either he got back early and got it shipped out, or the family event didn't happen, or anything. It was a very fast turnaround. It's one of those purchases you want to make sure you know what you want and you really want it, because if you hit buy, there's no chance to cancel it. So again, these are going to be really handy around here, so when I come home from work, I can just look at, see if there's any traffic on the HF band, get on there and play a little bit. Plan on taking this to the field day. Is any other radio events that we'll be doing with the club in Austin, or maybe the Mason City Club. I know both places are playing around with using Wi-Fi and call logging software, where this would be very handy for all the operators to be able to look at. And it's quite exciting. The more I play around, it's neater. I see some of the stuff, what it can do. But like I said, right now, this is what I want it. And I got another little trick I'm going to show you guys here once we get this all situated before we sign off for sure. So again, make sure you go down to the description. You'll see the places, Clear Skies Institute, information on HamClock, Inovato Quadra, place you can purchase it, the hardware wise. And again, if you have a spare laptop or a desk machine, Windows, and you want to just play around with it, download the PDF, install it. If you're lucky enough to have a Raspberry Pi that does meet minimum requirements for this, the software, try setting it up. I'm sure it could. It didn't look like it was going to be that difficult to set this up on a Pi or a computer. It's just I'm sitting there going, well, for this much money, yeah, I'll rather have it up and running now instead of me playing around. And the amount of free time I have, even though I'm supposed to be retired, my free time isn't that much. But this will be handy. Like when I come home and I want to play, I can play on the radios. If like earlier this week, the bands were very active. Then Friday, it just like somebody pulled the plug on it. Got home, checked the bands. Okay, not too bad. And as the day went, the evening went on, it got worse and worse. So there must have been some type of solar activity. I don't remember looking at this that closely, but I just saw that they were poor going to bad. So on that, I'll show you a little neat surprise I got. When the greenhouse was going full tilt, that's one of the main reasons we had to put the computer network in for her FTD, all her wire stuff and bookkeeping stuff like that. Plus, also, we had a series of video cameras set up in some locations around, and that's feeding that monitor along with cable and satellite and other stuff. Call logging softwares, and over here we have weather and just whatever I want on these two other monitors help me out. And again, as this is cycling through, I did feed the output of the Quadra into the camera sequencer. It's running through an adapter to take the HDMI into a signal that the sequencer likes to have. And when I'm working here on the radio, I can actually just minimize the call logging software, and here is through the computer network that same information. And so if I want a closer look, and if I'm trying to read something and it trips onto the next picture, I can just drop onto the computer. As it is cycling through all the different camera shots, it's just kind of nice to know if you're working away on the radio and somebody pulls up, I don't see them out the window, because as you can see, I can't see out the window. Monitor's in the way. I could just glance over and see what's going on out of the house. As we come up here, we got a couple more. Messy basement. Then the next one, which is what I insist that we put on with the cameras, is a shot of the sump pump. Now I can access these cameras from my phone when I'm off site here, when I'm at work or on an event, and I can just always check back on a rainy day like today, just make sure the sump pump's working, it's not overdeal. And there is, we can unlock it. We can change the background color. As you can see, what I'm doing on one screen, it will actually carry over to all of them, and it appears down on the quad down there on the bottom. So we'll get this back where I had it. Maybe. Come on, where's the white? There we go. And we'll get to the black background. To me, that looks better. So, on that, for mere $59, I can act like I have a Geotron in the room, helping me out contesting or just playing fun on the HF bands. It's one of those deals I wish I could have found this when TLJ was around. She would have been in heaven. But on that, 7-3, thanks everybody. Take care. Be sure to tell your friends, neighbors, other hams. Subscribe, hit that bell to get notification when new videos come out. Add comments below. 7-3, everybody. Take 2. Open. 3, 2.